Friends, welcome to Mind and Intellect Conversations. In this podcast, we are discussing spirituality at work, how professionals in practice can imbibe the spiritual values. As a result, work becomes worship. The tagline, work is worship, is a principle, if followed, does wonders to one's work life balance. Therefore, friends, stay tuned. This podcast is on spirituality at work. To discuss that, we have a wonderful friend and a guest, Mr. Naveen Kabra.
Welcome to today's episode. Naveen is a seasoned finance professional with over 18 years of experience, spanning senior roles across diverse industries. He began his career with PricewaterhouseCoopers in assurance, working in both India and the UK, before transitioning into core finance roles with leading organisations like Damac Properties, Drake & Skull, and Al Nasser Contracting. Over the past 4 years, Naveen has specialised in consultancy, focusing on tax and business advisory, VAT, and corporate finance. His expertise lies in financial leadership, strategic advisory, internal audits, cost optimization, fundraising, and IPO advisory, where he has end-to-end knowledge of the listing process and strong relationships with banks, auditors, and legal advisors across the UAE and beyond. Naveen is a chartered accountant, ICAI India, and an associate member of CIMA UK.
Known him for quite some time, an ardent admirer of spirituality and the Indian culture. Not only him, his family is into the practice of spirituality. His son and daughter attend Saritaji's young adult sessions. So we're really happy to have you, Naveen ji.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Mind and Intellect Conversations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me here, and it's wonderful. This subject is very close to my heart. I have been ardent follower of spirituality, as you mentioned, and of course, all credit goes to you. The moment I got in touch with you, it's been almost 4 years now, probably after COVID. And after that, I have been listening and practicing spirituality as much as I can.
Right. And
so I thought, there are some questions which I have to discuss with you. And not only, I'm sure not only it will help me, but it will also help the entire fraternity of professional people.
Right.
Because these are very, very relevant questions. So I thought, it will be useful to have a discussion around that.
Thank you. Very happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much. So my first question to you is, how professionals can practice spirituality while conducting their duties in their professional life?
Right.
Can you just throw some light on that?
Yes. See, it's interesting when you say how professionals can practice spirituality while conducting their duties and striking a work-life balance as such.
Yep.
See, the thing is, spirituality, we have to understand it first. Spirituality is an attitude. When we say attitude, without changing anything externally, with a slight change in the way you think, you feel, you make choices and conduct yourself in your daily life, everything about your life changes. That's why we keep highlighting spirituality is an attitude. The spirituality is not divorced from your daily life. It's a part and parcel of your daily life. So, in simple terms, spirituality means improving your quality of emotions, making your choices with clarity, and bringing in some dexterity, some proficiency in your action. That's why this attitude, when I say spiritual attitude, where your emotions are better, your thinking is sharper, your actions are productive, is going to help you in every aspect of your life. That's why. So, spirituality must be a part and parcel of your professional life. See, we are using our mind and intellect in every aspect of our life. In fact, I keep highlighting, professionals are what? If you define professionals are those who have intelligence in a particular field of activity. You're talking about tax consulting, or accountancy, or interior design, computers, engineering. See, every aspect, the professionals they have that proficiency in a particular field of activity. They have used their mind and intellect to gain that proficiency.
Yeah.
But that alone is not enough. You have that aspect in your work, but you need purity of emotions, clarity in thinking, and the egoless work. For that, you need the support, the what I call as the pillar, which is spirituality. Spirituality in this case is higher values, is nobler thoughts. So in that is essential. And another aspect which most professionals seems to handle or want in particular is work-life balance.
Yes, that's very important. Yes.
Most people think it is there is an imbalance. In fact, spirituality helps you to integrate your life into the work and other areas of life. So when we say it helps you is when you have values, each person, the value systems are different. But what is a value? There's something which makes you a better person. It is a person. Each one must adhere to certain values according to themselves. I am not here to tell this is the value systems, but it is being selfish all the time is not going to help you. Being unselfish definitely helps you. There's certain value systems if they can adopt, and what happens is that helps them to set their priorities right in life. And when that priorities are right, that is when they are willing to fulfill their obligations. Or each one has a role. You're a professional at work. You're a husband to your wife. You're a father to your children. You're a brother to your sister. You're a son to your parents. You're a friend. So many roles we have. Bereft of spiritual values, people take many roles for granted. I'm giving you a good education, right? What else you want? I'm giving you a nice place to stay, and you have a credit card with a big limit. What are you complaining? Most professionals or entrepreneurs, they make this mistake of taking many other roles granted. Which means what? They don't put in effort, minimal effort. And they give all effort and emphasis on one particular role, their profession, which they should. But it should not be at the cost of neglecting other roles. This is where the work-life imbalance happens. But when you integrate spirituality into your life, you understand my work is important. But you also understand family is equally or even more important. Health is important.
Yeah.
My reverence, my relationship with the parents is also important. I'm also a social person. So you understand the value your profession has in your life, which is very, very important. But you also have the priorities right. Therefore, this is where the big shift happens. And as a result, that's why I say spirituality will always help. As you mentioned, you use the spiritual journey in conducting the various roles. And most important, the work-life integration, the work-life alignment results in work-life balance. There's no point complaining about imbalance in work and life. You should identify why that is happening. That's why there's no other avenue like spirituality which sets the priorities right. And priorities are right because your values are right. Values are higher. Values are nobler. You understand, there's a time to play with your children. There's a time to advise your children. There's a time where you have to be like friends with your children. So, ideally, our home atmosphere should give. Otherwise, our effort in whatever values you are inspired by, adopt it and adhere to it. That helps you to become more spiritual in life. Spiritual in life is a suggestion that you are understanding yourself in a much, much better way. You are more a holistic person, not just an individual. not just a person with intelligence. So this is what I would suggest. And I also have some questions to you.
Yeah,
I
surely.
keep jokingly highlighting this. And I know every time I highlight this, I refer you. I mean, not in a negative way. I say, it is easy to teach accountancy to a honest person, but impossible to teach honesty to an accountant. What is your views?
Yeah. I've been always listening to all your lectures, and you always say that. Yes, I mean.
Not to put you in a fix, but
no.
it is it appears like a jokeless statement, but a lot of it is a loaded statement. That's why
it is absolutely. Look, I think. First of all, let me be a critic of our profession. Yes, sometimes we have seen many of the instances where there are situations where accountants and finance professionals have done some of the things which technically or ideally speaking the profession or their ethics doesn't allow. Unfortunate about it. However, it's not that an accountant cannot be honest. It is definitely not like that. Honesty, I believe, is the premise of any profession, whether it is an accountant, whether he is a finance professional, he or she is a finance professional, or even an architect or even a software designer. At the end of the day, honesty is one of the most important quality. And as you mentioned, spirituality, which gives you the value system, or it highlights or stresses on the value system. I believe there the honesty is the key.
right.
An accountant can be honest. Yes, 100% he can be honest. In fact, I am a chartered accountant from India, and our Institute of Chartered Accountancy of India, it predominantly, most importantly, talks about the ethics and the standards, which are very high and highly set. And honesty, of course, is one of the most important pillar of that. Having said that, I do not think that honesty cannot be adopted. I think, on the contrary, it can be adopted very well. Yes, the world out there is not very clean, we all know, but it is up to us. How do we imbibe, whether it's a good quality or a bad quality, what we want to take.
Right.
Number one. Number two, I think once you become stronger in your decision making, that no, if this is not right for the company, let's say, to whom I'm working, or he or she is my client, or it is for the society, or it is for the country, or it's for the globe. If you take that decision in a right manner, then obviously your decision making becomes very stronger, and you take the right decisions in terms of honesty being applied or not applied.
Right.
Number one. Number two, I think spirituality comes to the rescue in such scenarios. I'm sure in every professional's life, and even in my life, we had many instances where you need to really strike a balance between being honest and being dishonest, to be honest. Yeah. So what happens is, in that situation, I think spirituality really comes to the rescue, as you mentioned and you highlighted in your previous statement, that value system is what really differentiates a professional from being just a professional or being a true human being.
Right.
So I guess that brings any individual or any professional to a situation where if he or she is quite intense about the spiritual values and the value system which is being taught in our country from the childhood, I think honesty will automatically comes to them, and it certainly helps in the decision making in a professional's life. Sometimes it could be difficult,
right?
Because not everyone understands really that an accountant can be an honest person. But yes, certainly accountants are honest, and they should remain honest, because as I said, those are the most important ethics.
Correct.
Which one should have.
No, I understand, because that's important. You see, when I asked you, is honesty is the cornerstone in any aspect.
Correct.
Honesty, trust, or it is an accountant or a tax planner should plan the taxes, but that ethics, as you mentioned, is the I mean, that's when you really can contribute to yourself and to the client. I agree.
And I think one should, as professional, it's not only client is your responsibility, in my opinion. It is also the society at large.
Correct.
And it is also the value system which you are creating in your company.
Correct.
Because the way you deal with your client, your employees also will deal with your client.
Right.
So it is up to us whether we want to really create an ecosystem which is built on ethics,
Right.
or you want to create an ecosystem which is not built on ethics.
Right.
So it's purely your decision, I think. And of course, we know something which is not good perhaps will give you definitely wrong results in the long term.
Correct.
And I think one should be careful about it.
No, I am with you. Nothing pays like honesty. Yeah. It's difficult out there, but let's not give any other choice but that.
No, surely. And this is what we practice obviously in our profession and obviously in our work environment as well.
Thank you.
So taking this conversation further, so does practicing or following spirituality can become a hurdle in conducting our professional duties?
See, not the other way around. Not practicing spiritual values can become a hurdle in your professional or business life. It is the reason is, see, when we say when I say that I may not go to a place of worship every day, but sitting here and sharing my understanding of life with you is worship.
Right.
It is, when you say practicing spirituality, will it become a hurdle in our professional duties? That's why, see, that's why not practicing spirituality will become a hurdle, because you're only using your intelligence in a particular field of activity, and that will give a certain kind of results. And not practicing spirituality, you give into a very dangerous progression in your success, which is ego.
Yeah.
Which is ego. You think it is because of you which all that has happened. And ego, you know it very well. Exaggerated glorification of oneself. You are looking only at one aspect. There's no spiritual values. When I say values, unselfishness, honesty, trust, faith, hard work, contribution, charity, all of this is all values. When you are in your profession and then you tend to become successful because you have a very strong gross intellect. I mean, you are using your intelligence. You are exceptional tax planner, a great accountant, a fantastic interior designer. You are making right choices in that field of activity, which makes you successful. But without spiritual alignment, it will make you egoistic.
Yeah.
Ego is a perpetual beggar. I mean, the more and more you grow and the more and more you become egoistic, that is the beginning of the downfall. So we always say when ego comes, everything else goes. It is along with ego comes anger, along with ego comes jealousy, along with ego comes resentment, along with ego comes revenge. So your success in your profession, if you are spiritually aligned, makes you a far more responsible person. If your success builds your ego, you're only servicing your own needs. And that, therefore, to put the question, practicing spirituality will help in your professional life. Not practicing it will help your ego to manifest further, and that's gonna create the downfall. With ego comes anger. And all those things, you want to prove that you are far better than others. You want to say, I want to kill the competition. You are not inspired by the competition, you want to kill the competition.
Right.
So, bereft of or lack of spiritual values, your success in your profession will eventually promote your ego. And people suffer from their own ego. Got to be careful. Now, I've got another question, because I've seen your progression. You're moved from being an employee in an organization for close to 15 or over years, and you're working in a large organization, and now you have transformed yourself or metamorphosed yourself into an employer in the field of consulting. Has this transition which happened for you now, has it happened in the right time, or do you feel you should have started this journey much earlier?
I think to talk about myself only, I come from a business family, and I always tell this to everyone. Perhaps business is in the blood, I started my consulting business, as you rightly mentioned, after a long stint in my employee or as an underemployment. But I had some other businesses and which are still continuing back home in India, and I had set them up maybe during my employment period itself. So I always had that plan. Yes, so business could have been, or being an employer could have been a little earlier in the career. Yes, it could have been. But as they say sometimes, when it is right, it is right. So I have no regrets as such. It's been almost 7-8 years now in the entrepreneurial journey, and it has been really enriching, and it has been successful also. We are growing leaps and bounds, and thanks to my partners and the surrounding, and obviously the clients are well recepting us. That's very important. And like I was mentioning earlier, most important thing is, I believe if you do ethically things right, number one, and you just do your professional duties in a balanced manner, and you keep sticking to your job, I think this is what people need.
Right.
So my suggestion to anyone would be, if somebody wants to get into entrepreneurial journey, or wants to be a businessman or anything else, always listen to your heart, and just go for it. You may have some hurdles, you may have some setbacks that every business or every businessman will have. But I think in the long term, it will certainly give you good results, because what happens is, when you are following your passion, and this is what I've learned from you always, swadharma. So if you are following your passion, or you are following your swadharma, you will definitely excel in life. And as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that instead of following paradharma, it's always suggestible to follow swadharma, and one will always excel. So I think that is what I have been doing, and so far, yes, it has been a great journey, and I'm sure there is ample of opportunities. And as professional, this is one thing which I want to just highlight here. As when you are in employment, your risk appetite or your horizon of thinking sometimes gets restricted. I'm not trying to undermine people who are in employment. No, not at all. There are multiple successful people who have done excellently well in their employment journey, and we see a lot of professionals in employment, being very successful, not only from financial aspects, but also from a growth perspective, also from a decision making perspective. So I'm not saying that everyone should become an entrepreneur or an employer, but if you think that there is a possibility to do better on being on the other side of the table, like an employer, I think one should take that decision very fast, rather than being restricting yourself into employee as an employee, because what happens is, we all are family people. So you have your expenses, you have your running living costs. So once you are an employee, sometimes this comfort zone, where you are, it just restricts your, I guess, agility, and maybe it also restricts honing your skills as an entrepreneur, as a businessman. So if one should get out of that comfort zone, it might be, yes, it may be difficult at the initial stage, but in the longer term, I think it really helps. And as I mentioned, that once you start following your passion, then you are really happy.
Absolutely.
So
Correct.
yeah, something of that sort happened with me as well. And then I have continued, and so far things are good. And I'm sure they will be
Right.
good as long as you are putting your efforts.
Absolutely. I am with you. I mean, it is the present time is the right time to do anything. If you want to do anything good, start straight away.
Correct.
Let's
That's exactly what I'm
not
saying.
postpone.
So I have another question for you.
Yes, sir.
How Vedanta, which is core part of the spirituality, can help to deal with ups and downs in one's professional journey.
Right. See, Vedanta is a Sanskrit word which means eternal wisdom or the end of knowledge or the essential knowledge.
Yeah.
So it is the core of spirituality because it talks about the individual. It's not talking about the world. It is talking about the individual in essence and how to contact the world. So therefore, with the ups and downs in one's life, the peaks and valleys in one's life, this spiritual wisdom, this clarity in thinking and the purity of emotions will helps you to become objective in life. Objective in life. The Sanskrit word is sakshi. You become a witness to various aspects of life. This is where when you're going through a big success, you are grateful for the success. And when you're going through a monumental loss, you have all emotions, but you don't become emotional. You're not sinking with that loss. You're not, jumping with that success. You feel all in much more, but there is a sense of objectivity. You enjoy the success. You feel the loss, but you are not enamored by success. You are not impacted by the loss. There is a certain sense of spiritual maturity with which you deal with it. That's why there is great success. It makes you a more responsible person.
Yeah.
There is a loss. It makes you look into the process. What are the things I've taken it for granted? Where are the lacuna? How can I improve myself? As a result, I deal with the world. It looks like a simple statement, but egoistic people cannot do it. They are victims of their own ego. They will blame everyone else. I am going through this because of this person, because of this environment, because of these situations.
Yeah.
Nobody takes responsibility they will take responsibility for the success, but they'll blame everyone else for the failure. Ups and downs, the spiritual knowledge, Vedanta, all these high values helps you to deal with it gracefully. There's serious growth, very happy. You enjoy that and you are far more responsible, cautious. How can I add value to my customers? How can I create a better product? How can we serve the needy? How can I make my employees more self-sufficient? And when you're going through a slump, you understand it's a difficult phase, but that maturity comes in. Objectivity, that beautiful poem, right? Even this shall pass away.
Yeah.
Pain is hard to bear, but with patience day by day, even this shall pass away. You deal with it. And over a period of time, you understand that downside was also good. It made me grounded in a good way. Maybe it made me think that certain roles have taken it for granted.
Yeah.
So all these things, you become your own mentor with Vedanta, with spiritual alignment. You have a mentor. You have these scriptures, all that. You have books and you have the environment, like you attend the lectures and all that. But slowly you become your own mentor. And as a result, when success is there, you're genuinely more grateful. There's so many factors. There is a downfall. You understand, maybe certain things are not going right. And, you identify the flaws, you improve on the fundamentals, and then you keep sustaining it. Like resilience comes in. Therefore, you need spirituality much more when you're down than when you're up. You should have that. Therefore, the downfall is very less or minimal. It is, but it's like many organizations when they're going through some kind of a slack in their sales or other thing. First thing they will stop is all the training programs. That's when you have to train more.
Exactly.
So, therefore, this is the ups and downs are the part and parcel of life.
Yeah.
You want to deal with it gracefully, make your intellect sharp enough. The intelligence is there. The intellect is sharp enough with the values. Therefore, there is maturity, responsibility, and both for success and failure. And it makes you far more responsible. As a result, there is maturity in the way we deal with ourselves and the world. Otherwise, without this spiritual maturity, spiritual maturity is what? It helps you to make better choices or the right choices in life. A person who makes all wrong choices, they are physically mature, but spiritually very immature.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Yeah, I think it's very well put up.
Yes.
I think listening to this conversation or this last piece of conversation, I think Vedanta is very, very imperative for
Correct.
each and every professional to really adopt to it.
Absolutely.
Because ups and downs, as you mentioned, will always be there in your business. Sometimes you may have a difficult situation. Sometimes it might be difficult to deal with a particular client or
Correct.
a particular client's expectations.
Right.
Or sometimes the clients are not even coming to you.
Correct.
Business is
Correct.
going down, or sometimes business is going humongously up.
Yes.
So I think it's Vedanta will really fix you in to be in the right position or in the right state of mind to take the right decisions.
Correct. I wish more professionals listen to it and adhere to it for their own benefit.
Yeah, of course.
If a professional in practice have all these values, they're not only going to get sustain the clients, they get more clients, and then they are also happy homemakers. They as a parent, as a husband or a wife, they are better in that roles as well. So now that we are in an ever-changing AI world.
Yeah, of course.
I wanted to, and then even the professional setup, as professional approach has changed. I want to ask you, being in this day in and day out, how has the role of a financial analyst or a consultant and a tax consultant, how has it evolved over the years, and in what ways has artificial intelligence impacted your industry?
Mm-hmm. So the finance and tax professionals, the evolution has been there a lot. And as we say, change is the only constant. And in the current environment, dynamics of doing businesses has changed tremendously. And especially after in the last 20-25 years, with the boom in the technological advancements in all arenas of our life, technology is something which perhaps we cannot live without. And I guess that gives a sign that in a profession like ours, where finance and tax is a very, very dry subject sometimes, right. But still there is a lot of technological advancement which has happened under our profession, and we see day in, day out that happening. So whether you talk about audits, you talk about tax, you talk about financial modeling, you talk about any kind of research, everywhere technological advancements has really helped. So I guess people who have accepted it and sort of understood that without technology it will be very difficult to survive in this world and perform better, they are really doing well. Some people who have not accepted it and they are still finding that technology is their enemy, they are succumbing to the situation. So I guess technological advancements are a must, and it is going to happen. This is how the world is moving, and we need to imbibe and adopt those technologies amongst our business. And actually, in my opinion, the technology is here to help you,
right,
and not to fight with you.
Right.
So that's the mindset change. You need to have it. Right. And once you have that, and in your work environment, everybody will comfortably accept it, and you move on. Coming to AI, this is one of the new hype, or I wouldn't say a hype as such, but yes, I mean it's being being overdone, to be honest. Everywhere we're talking about AI, but really, what is AI? Nobody knows. It's something which is evolving. Yes, we talk about ChatGPT and many other artificial intelligence tools which are available to you. I guess again it is here to help you.
Right.
And I think as professionals it's important to adopt to these changes rather than thinking no AI is going to take my job, or tomorrow let's say if AI comes in to a client, the client will not call me for a particular job. I don't think that's going to really happen, because everybody knows that there is something called human intelligence,
Right.
and there is something called artificial intelligence. So I guess as professionals, we know we are best at what, and what sort of value addition we can do to our clients. And I think that is where I think professionals should stress for themselves and for their teams, that where you can add value rather than fighting with the technology and fighting with the AI advancements or any other thing like that. Because at the end of the day, if it is available for a client, it is a must for a client also to look at it, because
Right.
the clients are also here to make money and reduce their cost.
Correct.
So if you can be part of the journey, it will be very helpful. If you think that no, you're not going to be part of the journey, then perhaps you are on the wrong side. So I think the artificial intelligence is
Here to stay.
everywhere, and it is going to stay here for
Right.
long,
Correct.
for sure. And that's how the generations will develop and get advanced. So instead of fighting with it or fighting against it, I would say fight with taking its assistance.
Yeah, embrace it and use it for your advantage.
Absolutely.
And every kind of a technological advancement was designed for betterment. From the horse carriage to a steam engine, and then a car. The first model of the Model T of the Ford car is a simple engine now to electric vehicles, and so many advancements which is happening. You can't but to embrace it, utilize it, and I am happy that more and more human skills, human intelligence is given more value, rather than that is gonna go up. So I am very optimistic, and I look forward to AI helping us in various roles.
Oh,
But
certainly,
eventually it cannot replace the role of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, human intelligence, or something which we normally talk about EQ and IQ. So I guess AI may have some sort of IQ for sure, but EQ is something which I guess
Yes, it's a
human
product.
being will possess, and that is something, in my opinion, one should really hone their skills there.
Correct.
Because that is what is going to make a difference to the
Right.
society, to your client, to your profession, and to the business.
Absolutely.
So having that emotional quotient with you will really help you, and that's where as a human being you will be taking assistance of AI and growing your business more.
I'm with you. I'm glad that you have that thought process.
Yeah. So I have another question for you, and
Yeah.
this is actually very I think very very standard one for every professional in their life.
Right.
So and it's good that we are talking about this point. So how can spirituality come to rescue for a professional when he or she faces a situation where ethics or professional judgment has to be compromised to retain a client or a client relationship?
Right. I can imagine this question will be there forever. It is this earlier a person gets the right answer and clears their mind in this aspect, they are better off. Spirituality does come to a proper rescue for any professional, male or female, when the question is on ethics. To retain a client, do you forego ethics, or you stick to your ethics and forego a client? And especially in the present scenario of client retention, is not employee retention or client. And here it's predominantly client retention, because they are the one who are providing the revenues. And so for this, more than the retaining the clients, it is the person who is interacting with the clients who needs to be focused upon. Now we keep highlighting, are you true to yourself? There are clients, there is business, there is profits, there is expenses, all that. Are you being true to yourself? There's a beautiful poem in the Shakespeare's words, it says, "To thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man." Are you being true to yourself? When I say true to yourself, to thine own self be true, it must follow as night the day. How the night follows the day? It's like, are you being in alignment with your conviction? Conviction is a strong thought that this is the right thing to do or this is not the thing to do. It's a very strong thought. There's no emotions in it. Conviction is, it's strong. It is for you, your gratitude to your parents. It's a conviction. It's strong. There's no discussions on it. Conviction is that a strong, positive, progressive, right thought. And the second aspect is you are true to your conviction and conscience. Conscience is that inner voice, that little bird in each one of us which tells you, hey, go, this is the right thing to do. Or don't do this. You want to let go of your values you've been holding on for 15 years now, and you want to let go of it for this one client. Is it worth it? The voice of your conscience, inner voice, that little bird, that intuition, that something within you tells you, don't do it. Or it says, do it. Like, you wanted to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a professional, you're working for someone else, but something tells you, I think I've got 15 years of good experience. I got to take the plunge now and get into business. Because something within you tells you, even if said, hey, why are you giving up a nice job? And these days being an entrepreneur is not that easy. There's so much of difficulties, but something within you tells you, the conscience tells you, you got the experience, you can go through the grind for the next 2 years, you should try it out. So, compromising or living up to your values is predominantly based on how aligned you are with yourself. That's when, are you being true to yourself? Are you being true to your conviction and your conscience? Going against your conviction or conscience, later on, something happens. You compromise for a certain reason to retain a client, and something happens and you feel bad. Your own action comes back and haunts you. There's a regret because you went against your conscience. So there are times where it doesn't look that easy, but you are aligning with your conscience. Eventually, you thank yourself. Now the client understands that we are among the top 4. We are the most trustworthy service providers. So let's say there is one is you're being true to yourself. Second is there is delayed gratification. By instant gratification is you compromise, you get something. Delayed gratification. It happens. Success may be delayed but never denied. And the client also, over a period, they were very tough, I thought, but actually they were right. Over a period of time, they say, and now when you say something, they will listen because you didn't compromise. It is not just for that deal or a commission or something. There is you are in sync with your values. The other is a person who gives in to, you have to retain the client, but not at any cost. At any cost, you want to retain the client. And then you start compromising, and this is where the mind overpowering the intellect. We need that client. And now you will go down the drain. They want some more. They want some more. And how long can you compromise? How long can you, put your organization, yourself at stake? So this is another way of looking at it. That's why the intellect stronger in this aspect. It will tame the ego and the intelligence. Look here, we are of a certain caliber. Why should we compromise for what? That intellect controls it. Those who compromise, the mind overpowers them. Oh, this is only once I'm going to do it. There's no other problem. Then later on I will not do it. And once you have given in, the client says, at the time you did that, why can't you do it now also? It is a game which you have lost even before you started.
Correct.
So mind overpowers the intellect. So therefore, you got to do the other way around. Intellect should be fired with values. As a result, it supervises the mind. Another idea is a little less money with more peace is any day much, much better than much more money with no peace. a little less money. I'm not saying no money. A little less money. Maybe another 1 million is less. A little less money with more peace. You hit the pillow. You can pat yourself. I did the right thing. It comes. It is difficult. It is a little less money with more peace is far better. Any day, much better than much more money with no peace.
Yeah.
So these are the various ways of looking at it. Therefore, all that we say is clients are important. Retaining client is an art, but not at the cost of your value systems. We don't need to compromise to retain clients. And once you give into that way, it is never ending.
Yeah.
So this is where spirituality immensely plays a role. You're true to your conscience.
Absolutely.
You are strong with your conviction. And you understand delayed gratification, it's fine. This year suddenly I would have showed 100% growth or profits, but it's okay. We are only growing at 40%, but it's okay. Later on, in 5 years' time, it will compound in a better way. Delayed gratification. So that's my suggestion to all professionals. Stick to your value systems. Align with your conscience. Have a strong conviction. The rest will follow. The right clients will adhere to you, and their word of mouth you'll get better clients.
Yeah, I think that clarity is very important, and I think as you mentioned, mind overpowering the intellect or intellect taming the mind.
Correct.
Is the key.
Is the key.
So I think spirituality and Vedanta really comes to help, and
Correct.
has been helping me.
Yeah.
Where there is a fight between mind and intellect, and how intellect basically tames the mind, and then you take the right decisions.
I understand. In fact, that's the only way. We are being blessed with an intellect.
Yeah.
Why would you not use it? It's like there is an outdoors and there is a palace. You are living in the outdoors.
Correct.
And the palace belongs to you. It's like you're complaining about, so I only got 2 rooms, but the palace has got some 50 rooms.
Yeah.
That's the intellect. So, for others, as you mentioned, many people may have this query. Those who want to make the shift of being an employee to an employer, from being a professional serving an organization, becoming a professional in service for other organizations as in your own capacity. For those who are trying to make that shift from working for others and working for themselves, what is your guidance? What would you suggest to them?
I think I spoke about that point briefly, but I think see, there are 2 things which I want to stress here. One is follow your heart. If as we have been talking about Swadharma, if you really think that being an entrepreneur or being an employer or being a businessman is something which is sort of your calling, then you should look at it. And as the Japanese talks about the ikigai, so if you think that is your ikigai, you should really take a plunge. What can be difficult? I mean, look, we have all type of scenarios and stories in our profession. There are a lot of people who have been successful. There are many instances where people couldn't, do well, and then they went back to the being an employee.
Right.
There's nothing wrong.
Correct.
I mean, at the end of the day, you will not have a regret when you are old enough that you would never tried.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, one should always try.
Right.
And being successful or not being successful, again, is a measurement which I think one should do for themselves, rather than others doing for themselves or that individual.
Correct.
This is very important, because sometimes what is success? I mean, a lot of people we see in our commercial world, and I being a chartered accountant and in finance and tax profession, success in our fraternity is only defined if you have a big house, if you have a big car, and if you have a big bank balance. But I don't think that is the right way to measure success.
Right.
Of course, money is important, and being successful in that manner is also important. I'm not saying that, but that is not the only way
Correct.
or definition of being successful. As you were saying earlier, when you hit the pillow, are you sleeping in 3 minutes or not?
Right.
If you are able to do that, then I guess you are successful.
Correct.
If you are happy, your family is happy, your people around you are happy, your employees are happy, then I think you are successful.
Absolutely.
It's not only about having a bank balance or a bigger car or a bigger home.
Correct.
So that is something, my advice to all individuals who want to come into the employer role or want to be an entrepreneur. Do not think that being successful is only when you have a large bouquet of clients or a large bank balance or a large portfolio. That is not at all the only measurement of being successful. What really guides you is, are you really happy doing what you are doing?
Right.
If you are happy, then I think you are successful. And that's what I would suggest to any individual who wants to come into this journey, that do, again repeating, do if your heart says this is the right thing, or the little bird which says if this is the right thing, do. Take a plunge and do. Yes, but you have to give 100% of yours. You cannot then have a half mind or a sort of thinking that, okay, let me try this also and let me also try that.
Right.
No, then give 100% and then just go for it. If you think that doing that you are happy and you are good, you continue with that.
Excellent.
That's
I'm
what I
glad.
would suggest.
No, the wonderful advice, because it takes big achievements, needs big decisions.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So, talking about Vedanta, how Vedanta helps us to become good professionals and thorough citizens. This is very important. I really want to ask you, because like I said, being successful is not only having a larger set of clients, but what you are doing for the society as a whole is also very important. So how Vedanta can really help an individual to become a good citizen?
Right. See, in fact, it is Vedanta, it's a spiritual knowledge, and which will help you to see. We are not talking about a particular, the values of a master or a particular sect. All those spirituality is what? It is getting you closer to the spirit in you.
Yeah.
Actuality, you are actualizing the spirit in you through the usage of body, mind, and intellect, and whereby the physical body, mind, and intellect are your possessions. They belong to you. You use the mind. You don't allow the mind to use you. You use the intelligence you have gained in a field of activity. You don't allow the intelligence to develop ego and dictate your life. So, and as a result, all these aspects, your physical body, your mind and emotions, your intellect and its thoughts, are a blessing to you. And through these aspects, you have the various desires. You use the desires in a constructive and a progressive manner to fulfill it and then rise above it. It's only through spiritual alignment you are able to observe your desires. You're able to decide which desire to pursue. And while pursuing the desire, you don't allow the desire, when you fulfill a desire, you don't allow the desire to upgrade itself, but to transcend. So it is, you don't become otherwise what happens, what Vedanta, what spiritual helps us is to deal with the desires gracefully. Not to become a victim of your desires, not to become dependent on your desires for your happiness. It gives you that sense of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means you are executing your obligatory duties fully without getting attached to it.
Yeah.
It could be a parent. You do whatever your obligatory duties are without expecting much. There is always some expectations, but the expectations are well managed. So in every role as a professional, you give your best. And as a result, you will see the Bhagavad Gita highlights, do your duty, don't expect results. They say, how can you not expect results? The result is in mind. You have fixed a result. It gives a direction, but the entire emphasis on process excellence. The entire focus is on where is your control factor in the present action. Yeah. And if you do the present action right, continuously, consistently, success will happen. Therefore, for professionals, for entrepreneurs, to become good in their field and a responsible citizen, you have no other choice but to raise yourself. In the Gita, Lord Krishna says, Uddharet Atmanatmanam. He says, you got to raise yourself by yourself. You could be, or you are your best friend, and you could be your worst enemy. The whole thing spirituality does is it makes you the best friend to yourself. And you don't allow the enemy in you to manifest more. At times the enemy is in the form of cravings, your ego, your jealousy, your anger. All these are enemies. Has anybody you met, I'm so happy being angry. It doesn't have, I am so peaceful being egoistic. All these are enemies in an individual. So you could be your best friend when you align with the values. And that values, each one has to decide.
Yeah.
There are set values, but each one, at a certain stage, hard work is a value. At a certain stage, kindness is a value. At a certain stage, forgiveness is a value. At a certain stage, compassion is your highest value. So value, all these put together is value system. So when you have all that, that's it is you are dealing with yourself in a much, much better manner. And as a result, your profession, the business you're in, is an avenue through which you fulfill certain desires and you leave a legacy. And thorough and responsible citizen, you have lived up to your potential. And that's the leadership impact you have on others. And maybe those who are working with you will help you. They get inspired by the way you conducted yourself as a leader. And as a result, there is the way people remember you will be very different. Like the way Abdul Kalam was remembered, or like a professional entrepreneur like Ratan Tata, the way the whole of India felt his loss. It was he was a person who was in business.
Yeah.
But the way, the respect and reverence they had for an entrepreneur like Ratan Tata was very, very different. So that's what it is. You find there's values. There is values in all of them. So Vedanta, Veda means knowledge, Anta means end. Vedanta literally means the eternal knowledge, which doesn't change over a period of time. Whatever the values, will be there now, will be there tomorrow and forever. So anyone adhering to it will be a good ethical professional and a responsible citizen. That's my assurance to all professionals. And enjoy your life. The profession you've taken up should be a blessing to you and to others. And have a holistic growth, a happy home, a home full of affection and concern, a job you like, reasonable wealth, good physical health. All these things, you can't buy it. You have to deserve it. You got to earn it.
Yeah.
And spirituality plays a way. That is spirituality at work. Thank you.
Thank you.